Welcome back to Teacher Talk. This is episode 2. I'm your host, Andrew Laura. Today we're here with Mr. Borgia. I want to jump straight into it. I want to ask about your background. Tell us about how long you've been at this school, how long you've been a teacher, what got you into it, what class you teach.
So, this is my 13th year here at Cromwell High School. I started in Plainville High School and did my internship there, and it was a hands-on experience, high school for 16 weeks, and I loved it so much, I was like, I got to stay in a high school. So I ended up finding the job here, and it was a mostly a woodworking job, and I love woodworking, if anybody's taking a class with me. So that's what drew me into Cromwell, was the really good shop. And, you know, teaching for me was something in my high school. I went to Farmington High School. My teacher was phenomenal. It was the reason why I wanted to come to school, was working with him and his construction classes, his woodworking classes. We did a lot of stuff there that was, you know, we were building sheds, we were, you know, making projects, we were building stuff for the school. It was just such a great experience that I'm like, this is, you know, something I would love to do for other kids, give them the same experience that I did.
Tell me more about the difference between when you first came in, what the shop looked like, and how have you made it better with the tools? I know you've talked about that before. Like, how have you progressed with the class itself?
So when I first started here, it was old school setup for industrial arts. So very big, bulky equipment, very old equipment. I think you're looking at probably about 30-year-old equipment. Everything was outdated, wasn't running really that great. It was not allowing us to do a lot of the projects I can do today. So over those 13 years, we have pretty much updated every single tool in the shop. Every tool is approximately about, I think the oldest one is probably about 8 years old. We also started incorporating some more like manufacturing tools. We actually have a small 4x8 CNC computer numeric control machine that you can program to cut out different designs using a water-cooled router. We've also added a laser, a 40-watt laser, so that we can actually cut out small parts, and, you know, using a program we can create designs, and I can make custom cutouts for students as well. So not only have we upgraded equipment, but we've kind of moved into the new days by adding some of that more computer-based manufacturing stuff.
How come, just going off of what you just said, like, how can you apply, like, our new world with all this technology, how does that apply to woodworking? How do you use that? How can you teach kids to still use that skill, even if we're in a technology advanced world? Like, how can you use woodworking for that?
So woodworking is like one of those things where people it's old school. Like, you only did this in the old days, like you can't do that now. Problem is, people don't realize that when you walk into a house, that 99% of the house is built out of wood. Furniture included, cabinetry included. So a lot of that stuff now, you know, we have to be able to maintain, be able to work with. There's still a lot of industry that is mass producing furniture, that's incorporating like that higher technology CAM kind of stuff, where you have computer aided manufacturing, which is pretty much CNCs cutting out parts. We actually toured a shop that do cabinets where I think there's only about like 10 or 15 people working there. Most of them are all just designing, and then you have a few people that are loading CNCs and stuff. So woodworking is definitely still, you know, a huge component to everyday life, and people should be able to, you know, work with it. They should be able to understand, you know, where it's coming from. They should be able to understand like how to repair it. And how to use it to kind of build stuff for themselves.
Are there still jobs with like fine woodworking, with like the introduction of like IKEA and like cheap furniture they could build yourself, like MDF, like you'll talk about? Is there still a demand for like skilled craftsmen with woodworking, with actually well-built furniture you can buy? Are there still a lot of jobs for that?
No. The answer is rough as that sounds. There isn't as much. IKEA definitely has changed the industry because we're mass producing furniture out of particle board. We're not using, you know, real wood as much. There is still a high demand for very well built furniture, but the places that are making them are mass producing using pretty much manufacturing tools such as CNCs. So you don't really have the craftsmen like working in the furniture shops as you used to. But you do have cabinet builders and cabinet makers. That's where you'll see more of your like fine carpenters, as you would be called in the industry. That's doing like fine finish work in terms of like trim, door hanging. You'll find your like cabinet builders that are doing like kitchen cabinets, bathroom cabinets, or vanities. Those are that's where you're going to start seeing like people who want to continue the work. That's where they'll probably be going into.
Do you think that your class, your woodworking class, and your like basic level classes, is that still something that you think everybody should know, and it's a basic skill that you should know just in your life?
I think woodworking itself is pretty much a mode of transportation, because there's so many other things that are kind of getting thrown into that vehicle. Understanding tools, being able to understand like how to use them, being able to understand, what's repairable, what's not repairable. You got to remember that like a typical homeowner is going to have to do some kind of work at their house. Being able to purchase a few simple tools and being able to use them safely can get you a lot of work done for a lot less cost. So, of course, like contractors today, for something to get done costs a lot of money. So being able to do some of the work on your own makes a big difference. From installing a bathroom vanity, which is not that hard to do, but being able to use a drill properly, being able to fasten to the wall, understanding different types of screws and so forth, and adhesives. That's all skills I think that everybody should know. Being able, a functioning homeowner.
What do you think has been the effect of lessening the amount of shop classes in just normal public schools? What's the effect of that? And how do you, with just in Cromwell, I mean, I think woodworking is the only shop class. How do you try to incorporate other shop skills in that class? And back to that question too, what's the effect of less shop classes?
So less shop, the problem with shop was that it used to be such a dirty word. People would take, people who were taking the quote unquote shop class were, the kids that were like not going to be able to amount to anything. You took shop. It was just like, it was a class because we just needed you to go somewhere. Shop class now is opening a lot of students' eyes to other industries that are very lucrative. So, for example, for a while we were not like very excited about the trades. Trades are huge. I mean, we have such a big turnover right now. A lot of people are going to be retiring in the next 10 years, and there's nobody there to take those positions. How do you get kids excited about it? You get kids inside of a wood shop that are using tools and feeling like, wow, I like to work during a period. I could see myself working for hours, building, kind of repairing, modifying. That's something you could do in a trade. So our classes kind of open those eyes for those kids, give them that opportunity to see if this is something that they're interested in. Because unfortunately, like the college life is not for everybody. People don't need to go there to have a very successful career. So that's why I think that, taking the shop class really does open your eyes to the different industries.
Do you think that work ethic that I think was more prevalent back in the day, where there would be kids who were just, couldn't fit into your normal classroom and you can't sit down and listen to a lecture. Mm-hmm. Is there still kids like that want to get up and start working or be hands-on in a shop class? Are there still kids like that?
Oh, 100%. We have majority of the students. You'll have students that are like an Oreo. You'll see one side of them in the classroom, and then you'll see a totally different side of them inside of a shop class. All because in my class, kids are not sitting for the whole period. They're moving. They have to use their hands. They have the ability to communicate with other people during a period. Whereas in a history class, for example, you usually don't talk to anybody. You just listen to lectures, or you're taking quizzes, or you're writing essays. So you don't have that collaborative space, which a lot of people thrive. Like they love having a collaborative space. They love the fact that they can produce something, fail, and be okay with it, and then try to do it again to get better at it. So that's like another thing where, my class is pretty sweet. Kids get to experiment, which they don't get to do in a lot of places. Where if you get in a history class again, it's either right or wrong. In my class, it could be wrong, but try again, you get better at it, and all of a sudden you have something that's right, or you might have taken something that was wrong and make it look, modify it to fit your needs.
All right, this is my last question. What's your goal for a student, any student, for how they come in initially the first class to their last class? How do you want them to be different, even if it's a small way?
I want kids coming into my class. My favorite kids are the ones that have no experience. Like, I don't want them to come in knowing everything. I don't want them to be super comfortable using the tools. I want them to not like to fail. Like, I like kids that they everything has to be perfect all the time, because this class kind of forces you. You will fail. Get over it. It's also one of those things where it's like, I want you to start to learn to get comfortable with tools. I want you to learn what they are and how they work. Because again, I think, growing up, and it's proof is listening to students that I've had in the past that will contact me saying, "Thank God I took your class, because of you. Like, I have the skills to be able to do, whatever it is I'm doing at the time." So.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Borgia. That was episode 2. I will see you again on episode 3 of Teacher Talk. Students looking for a fun activity after school, look no further than Robotics Club. Test your engineering skills and participate in fun teamwork challenges. Plus, the team you'll become a part of travels around the state for competitions. That's right, Robotics Club is just like a sport with local and state championships. Whether you're looking for an exciting way to spend your Tuesday afternoons or want to become an engineer in the future, Robotics Club is for you. See Mr. Borgia in room 207 for more details.